Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us for our regular 6 p.m. Pacific time discussion and talk and educational information about U.S. immigration law, where I take your questions live on general issues. We can't go into case specific stuff, but we're going to talk about what's going on and take the questions as it comes to the best extent possible. If you're interested in the fiance and marriage case, which is the focus of my firm, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, a free guide, 40 plus pages, breaking down every step of the way. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And down the ebook, you'll be blown away at the amount of free information that's out there. And you'll be, wow, this guy actually gave it all like this. So I hope you enjoy it. It's the best out there. I really believe that. And so with that, let's get it started. So as we have our listeners, regular listeners trickling in, Marlon 818 coming in. Thank you, Marlon. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us as always. Thought I'd talk about a little bit what happened today and stuff. This morning, I went to a USCIS adjustment of status interview. And in Los Angeles, where I'm headquartered, they're trying to really get these done. So we're getting crazy fast timelines for adjustment of status of 4 to 6 months many times. And this one was 6 months. But what was weird about it is it was a case where a U.S. citizen filed for adjustment of status and all that. Well, the foreign national files for adjustment of status, so based on a U.S. citizen child. And these normally do not have interviews, but they had scheduled one for this couple, these two parents. So we woke up 5 o'clock in the morning, went over there and did the interview. Nothing special. There's no reason really to have an interview for these people. They usually don't, but they were approved on essentially on the spot. As soon as we walked out, we got the approval notice online. I saw it happen. And then on another case, removal of conditions, I-751, had been pending for a year and a couple months. They scheduled an interview for them too. They got approved within 20, 30 minutes. They didn't need an interview either. So it's really inconsistent of when they're going to do these interview waivers or not for adjustment of status, for removal of conditions. So you never know, but these are possible, and sometimes they force you to come to interview. This is how it happens. There's a bunch of more stuff that popped in my head today as issues and stuff were happening that we'll discuss as we're going along, but we'll take some questions. So I'll be doing good day. Thank you for coming. Your question is, what happens at USCIS when my priority date is current? Well, in your case is current. They have a folder they put for their, on each month, and they see your month is current. They pull it out, and if you have an adjustment of status case pending, they'll work on approving it. But I don't have enough information about what's going on with your case, where you're at. Is it just that you filed an I-130, or are you saying current according to the final action date or the date of filing? Is it I-140 employer-based? I'll be doing just not enough information to be able to answer that. That's why we really need to dig into stuff. It actually reminds me, as part of a free gift we give away, part of this live video, every 10 minutes so we give out a free video consultation, a 15-minute free video consultation in private for those that like, subscribe, and leave a message saying consultation. And my wonderful assistant Katrina in 10 minutes and then 20 and 30 minutes will name a couple people behind the scenes for me to choose and name off, and I'll give you information on then on how to schedule the consultation. But I want you to let you know this option's out there to have a quick chat to see what's going on in a more private setting. So thank you for your question. So Fatima asks, what are the documents required to attach for an I-130 for spouse? So it really depends on your case. Obviously, you need to show that the U.S. spouse has either a green card or citizenship. You also need to show marriage certificate if you're married. Obviously, I-130 for spouse, you're married. Any previous divorce certificates, any name changes or anything like that as well. And then you go into the bona fides. And this is all in my ebook. If you go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, that's www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. I go over a lot of this, but essentially it's the documents you need to include to show your relationship is real, in addition to Form I-130A as well as you need to put. So what happens is you get kind of dive in relationships. Some people have property together. Some people have kids together. Some people have joint travel together. Some people have long communication records they could download, photos together, letters from family and friends, attesting to the reality of their relationship. You might have utility bills together, bank accounts, credit cards. It just goes on and on. It really depends on your situation. I have couples that have pets together. We give their vet records, veterinarian records showing both their names listed. I had one couple went to Disneyland and bought annual passes, and to show they bought the annual passes together and it has their names, we included that too. So it really depends on your unique case and your relationship as to what documents you need to bring. I can't answer that without knowing your case. So this is a general educational answer I could give, but you should really consult with an attorney and walk you through it just to be safe. That's probably the best route to do it. But thank you for your question, Fatima. Abdullah Shah, Wishal, I think your regulars asked, what should I do if my case is out of processing times? You need to contact USCIS if it's with USCIS, say what's going on, or with the agency. If they don't give you a proper response, maybe contact your local congressperson. And then if that doesn't work, then maybe contact the USCIS ombudsman for help. But I need to know more details about your case. It might be a reason it's out of processing time. You might have some peculiar issues. And so we need to catch that first instead of pushing the government to make a decision because they might just deny you. Maybe they're trying to think about how to help you because your case has issues. But if we keep pushing them, they're like, well, if you keep pushing us, we'll just deny it. So before you do any of this stuff, really talk to the lawyer to analyze what's going on with the case. Final route sometimes is to just file a lawsuit and sue the government. So all these are open to you, but whether they're appropriate or not, I can't say because I don't know your individual case, but thank you for your question. Release asks, I became documentarily qualified, and actually they say they're changing the name from documentary qualified to documentary complete from next month or so. The NBC said that. But anyways, I got qualified on April 30th, 2020, and my interview is at the end of this month, F2A, Bridgetown Embassy. Where is Bridgetown? I'm not sure. My second anniversary is December 10th. I plan to enter around December 14th. I will get a 2-year or 10 years. So let me back up and explain what this is. This person is married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder. They're going to get their embassy interview. Interview is going to happen about around the time they've been married for 1.5 years. If they're approved and the person is able to enter the United States after the 2-year anniversary of their marriage, instead of getting a 2-year conditional green card, which requires another application later on, it's approved as is real. If they enter after the 2-year anniversary mark, then they'll be issued a 10-year green card, which will not require them to apply for another application proving their relationship is real. So it's a great strategy if you could pull it off to enter the United States after the 2-year mark if your visa validity is still valid, which is something you gotta be careful if you want to play that game. It's a great idea to do it. Sometimes they make a mistake and still send you a 2-year green card. So if you do pass the 2-year anniversary, just let them know that, hey, you're making a mistake. I should be getting a 10-year green card if they don't give it to you automatically. And that should take care of things. Hopefully it works. And congrats on getting an interview. It's been hard for a lot of people. 29 Super C, irregular asks, hi, good night, Attorney John Khosravi. Did you see the Kingsley v. Blinken judgment? If so, can you chat about that judgment? I didn't read it. I saw our colleague Charles Cook and friends with that success, so I'm really happy for them. But I haven't gotten into the details of reading the Kingsley, I think it's Kingsley versus Blinken case. I haven't been following it too quickly. I've been a lot of consultations, a lot of family stuff, a lot of work, so I haven't got around to reading that. I have a magazine I published. Putting that together is a lot of work, so I'll be getting to that soon. But thank you for your question, Vanessa. Horam asks, my brother is going to apply for citizenship, but by mistake, he registered to vote at a local county. This is a really serious issue. They said they're going to get a little more lenient on it, but there's risks involved. So as a only person who can register to vote is a U.S. citizen. If you're not, it's potentially a violation. I remember I had one client who registered to vote by accident and filed for citizenship and was denied. Luckily, they didn't do an NTA, notice of appearance, send him to court for deportation for doing that. Came to me, we undid it, so we went to DMV and said, wait, let's back it up. Now, in his case, they accidentally registered him twice at the DMV and at his university. It was obvious that they had filled out some paperwork. We were able to argue it wasn't him, and the officer was cool with it and approved the case. I need to know exactly what happened. But registering to vote, they're trying to make it more leniently. They just updated the policy manual on this about a couple weeks ago. But I'd have to really sit down and look what's going on. There's risks involved. But first of all, you just want to undo it and ask for records of how registration happened. As long as he didn't vote, there's a more likely chance that he'll be okay. But a lot of it is going to depend on the person that reviews the case. But also, I'm not as well versed in the new regulation shakeup that they did on this particular issue a couple weeks back. I haven't thought I threw in different fact patterns. So to give an exact answer, I need to have a consultation with them. It's not typically a case I handle anymore. Maybe someone local in the city that they live in, a lawyer should handle it so they could come with your brother to his naturalization interview and that way defend his interests at the interview. But that's just a heads up on stuff of what you probably will be doing is undoing the registration and finding an explanation of why this error happened and hiring a local attorney to come with you that's qualified to the local field office. Well, thank you for your question. I'm sorry that happened. Not cast a vote upon. He has got a cancellation letter. So I think I answered that one already. Thank you, Clara. Mustafa asks, can you speak about an I-130 and I-45 joint filing and online filing? Well, when you say can you speak, I have an ebook that's 40 pages, and I have another one I wrote for lawyers 100 plus pages. So you got to be very specific about joint filing. Now, it's too general a question. I can't answer that. When you talk about online filing, I generally don't do online filing. You could file an I-130 online, but you're going to have to file the I-485 by paper. I and most immigration attorneys do not file cases online. We mail it to USCIS. Online filing is typically something done by self-filers, but some lawyers do file online. That's as much I could talk about here without more specificity to your question. Now, we do have a winner. Let me see who the winner was. Is this someone? Okay, so Abdul Washah, you had asked the question earlier. Congratulations, you are a live consultation winner. Just email me, take a screenshot and from where you're watching this, so I could see your username. I know it's you, and email that to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll give you instructions on what to do next. After you do that, congratulations, a free 15-minute video consultation. For those just tuning in, every 10 minutes, we have 2 more. So every 10 minutes, we give out a free 15-minute video consultation to live viewers. So if you're interested in that, just like, subscribe, and write consultation in the comments. And my wonderful sister Katrina will choose a name in 10 minutes and then 20 minutes to announce them as winners. And if you are interested in a family-based marriage case kind of thing, or just learning more about the immigration process, there's a lot of overlaps with other kinds of cases. What I want you to do is go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Thank you so much, Katrina and guests. Let's take the next question. Hashim asks, my wife's case, I-130, is in process. We have a newborn baby back home. Should I notify USCIS I am a citizen? Well, Hashmi, there's a lot of information I need to know on this. So I don't know if your child will automatically get citizenship based on you, because I don't know about your personal residential history, where you've been living at what years. And that's a requirement for you to be able to transfer citizenship to your child. So I need to know more information about your history. So, schedule a private consultation. And then if the child could get citizenship automatically, then, got to go to a local U.S. embassy and request a consular record of birth abroad, CRBA. That would be a really important thing to do, and get their passport. If they're not able to get citizenship, you'd have to file. They have rules where potentially the child could come in with their mother, but I'm not sure if that works for immediate relative case. You may need to file a separate green card petition for the newborn child if they're not automatically considered a citizen. But I would need to recheck the rules on this. It's not a scenario that happens often. So I'd have to double check the laws on it to see what's appropriate. So I can't give any more exact guidance than the information I gave. But Hamish, thank you. Congratulations on having a baby. That's wonderful news. Abnu asks, how long does it take for USCIS to cash checks presently? It depends on the case. Some cases it takes 2 or 3 days. Some cases it takes 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So there's like 5 different lockbox locations, 1,000 different employees handling the checks. Each one can do them differently. So that's how that works. Yeah. Maybe ask, good job, sir. You are awesome. Thank you so much, maybe. That's so very kind of you. I appreciate it. Miranda asks, can I travel out of a country if my green card is going to expire in January during the 90 days? As long as we are back before it expires, we'll have to file I-485 rule conditions. If your green card is valid, then yeah, you could come back with that, even if it's during the 90 days before expiration. But it's risky. You might go outside and you can't get a plane because of the pandemic, and you're stuck outside, and your green card expires, go outside. It's not something you want to do. What you really want to do is time it out, probably hire a lawyer so that you can file the I-751 and get a receipt in time, or at least have it mailed to you if needed afterwards. So plan it out properly, get a lawyer, and they can help you out with that to plan it out. But thank you for your question, Miranda. Amit asks, I got a 10-year green card instead of a 2-year green card through Marriagebased AOS. What should I do now? So this is kind of a follow-up to the previous question. So later on, I'm going to make a clip out of this. Katrina, make sure that this matches the other one. If there's an error and they accidentally give you a 10-year green card instead of a 2-year green card, the error correction is on you to fix. So what you have to do is file the form I-90 based on USCIS error. I-90 is for green card renewal, to get the new correct version of it. You could just wait to the 2-year mark and file for I-751 with a 10-year green card. That's possible too. Just keep an eye out on when your green card would expire 2 years from admission, the admission date listed, so you don't do a late filing. So you can either file I-90 now or just wait for your I-751 removal of conditions time and then file the green card, all that kind of stuff. So that's a general answer, but there's some nuances. That's why I kind of brushed it off at the end because I need to explain in more detail to fit what your issues are. And it's just too much detail for a general program, educational program like this. But thanks for your question, Ami. Hashim asks, what is actively reviewing mean? My wife's case says actively being reviewed. It means exactly what it says. They're reviewing your case. Sam asks, hi, if my conditional green card expired at the end of November, can I send my I-751 package and travel and come back to the US before my conditional green card expired by 3 weeks? Should I type NA in every blank? I'll start the end. The NA at every blank thing, it's not required. It might be good practice to do that, but it's not a requirement. I mean, in the form, in the instructions, it says it is, but in practice, other than for 2 types of cases during President Trump's administration, they don't enforce that. But your conditional green card expires in November. Can you travel before it expires? Yeah, you can. It's risky if you don't come back in time. As I mentioned in the previous question, that was similar. Why not just renew it and make sure you get a receipt, or at least have a receipt mailed to you or something like that. You can time this out instead of waiting for the last second. Just time it out properly. It's already November. I mean, you got to plan this out. That's why you have lawyers. You start early, and so you avoid all this kind of stuff. But it's up to you how much risk you want to take on. Thank you for your question. Bibi asks, I'm still expecting to go to my interview, last one for 10 years, green card. They have extended my green card with I-757 notice. My question will be, what if my I-797 expires? What to do? I don't know if they're going to have you go to green card, but once you do, well, so many removal of conditions questions today. It's going to be a long clip with all of this. But once you do removal of conditions, you file it, you get a receipt notice from I-797 is the general name they have receipt notices. And what you'll get is, nowadays, it's a 2-year automatic extension. It used to be a year, then went to 1.5 years. Just recently, they said we'll give you a full 2 years. But if your case is not decided by the time the automatic extension is expired on that receipt notice, then you'll be fine. You can just hang out, do what you do. But if you need proof for work authorization, you need proof for travel, you need to schedule an info pass appointment with your local USCIS office, which is not easy nowadays, and go there and say, explain the reason why you need a green card stamp, an ADIT stamp, ADIT stamp in your passport to prove you're a green card holder. And they'll stamp it there for 3, 6, 9 months, a year, something like that. They may take your existing green card away from you. And that'll hold you over until the decision is made on the removal of conditions. And, if it's possible to look into citizenship, you should look into that as well. That might speed things up. Sam asked, should I type NA? I already answered that question. But Sam, thank you for your question again. Mustafa asks, I-130 and I-45, family member, brother, more than 30 years undocumented, no status. I'm the petitioner, filing online, need advice. Well, I'm glad you asked. You cannot file for your brother. You would have led to his removal. If someone has been undocumented with no status, unless they're married to a U.S. citizen, they're a parent of a U.S. citizen that's 21 years or older, or minor child of a U.S. citizen, and they enter the U.S. lawfully, then they're not going to be able to adjust status in the United States. So your case would just get denied. Bad move. Now, there may be other exceptions. Something called 245I may be exception. They may have a thing called TPS, which has gotten more restrictive on being able to do anything. But I got to know if they enter unlawfully and then went out of status, or enter with no permission. There's too many factors I have to know. But the quick thing is, stop immediately what you're doing. Just talk with a lawyer in private. You're going to get yourself a lot of trouble by moving forward the way you are. Okay, so next question is by Monam. Monam asks, is it true that they still working on paper June 2020? Monam, there's 50 different kinds of cases. Some of them they're working on June 2020 cases. Some of them working on July 2021 cases. So your question is just missing too much piece of key information that I can't answer that. But thank you for sending the question. Abdul Shah asks, what are the steps that USCIS takes to approve an I-130 spouse case? Abdul Shah, it's not steps. I don't want to go through the internal process in USCIS. It's not going to help you or anybody else. But essentially, they're going to review the case, and they may do an interview and may not, depending on if you're doing consular processing or adjustment of status. But you just got to do the paperwork. All right, next question. Myra asks, "Hey John, I've been waiting for I-130 spouse interview after document qualified. I was document qualified in July. It's been 3 months now. How long do we need to wait?" Myra, there's no answer to that question. There's 500,000 cases in backlog. Many have been waiting over a year. There's no answer to how long you have to wait. Myra, I think you're a regular. You know the answer to this one already. I know you hope that there'll be an answer, but there's none. We just have to wait for the embassy to call you in, unless you get some expedite or emergency situation going on. Thank you for your question, Myra. Cynthia asks, "What can I do if my husband got deported and there's never set by a court date to deport him, and we've been married 14 years?" If he's been deported, but there's never a court date, I'm not really sure what's going on. So this is something you need to contact the attorney in private. I don't handle cases where someone has what we call removal now, not deportation. They changed the name, but I don't handle cases with deportation history. So, but you need to talk with the lawyer in private, do a video call, do your husband and the lawyer to get down the bottom of that. BB Walt, thank you so much. You're awesome. Glad to follow you. God bless you, BB. Thank you so much for your kind words. Sam asks, "Mr. John, thank you. Perhaps can I send my package I-751 and travel and come back before my conditional expires?" Yeah, maybe. In case something happens, my wife could handle the extension for me. Yeah, it's the thing. If you file it and you go and something happens, you're staying longer. Once you get the receipt, your wife could mail it to you, and you have that in hand. So that's a really good decision way to go about it. Yeah, exactly. You got to just plan it out. So Sam, if you want to have a free video consultation, just take a screenshot, let me know that it is you, and email that to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and we can have a quick chat about it. My cat says, that's a long name. My fiance got denied entry on ESTA at U.S. Customs in his country, and it got taken away. Yeah, that's a real serious situation. So they probably thought, because you're engaged, that your fiance is coming to stay in the United States, get married, and file for a green card. Typical scenario, they're going to cancel the ESTA, and they'll have to get a tourist visa or something, which will probably get denied as well. If you're engaged, you might as well just get a fiance or marriage visa case. Download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card at marriageimmigrationlaw.com for more information about that. But what you have to be mindful for is to get a transcript of the communication that happened with your fiance and CBP, the people that denied him. I'm guessing if they denied him outside the United States in his country, they're either from Canada, UAE, Ireland, and maybe one or two more places that have what are called pre-clearance centers. But you want to make sure is that even though they denied them entry, they didn't accuse them of fraud or misrepresentation. If they did, you're going to have to do a bunch of extra steps to be able to fix this situation by filing a 601A waiver or 601 waiver. I apologize. So it just got really messy. You really need to talk with an attorney. But first things first, you got to get that transcript and see what accusations are made of them. Sometimes the transcript of the communication of the denying officer with your fiance will not be clear. You may need to contact the port, get more information just to confirm, maybe do a FOIA request to see exactly what happened and if they accuse them of misrepresentation or fraud, which has very serious consequences, potentially a 5 or 10-year bar to entry, if just on any regular trip, but a lifetime ban as well unless you get that way. Very serious consequences. Well, thank you for your question. I'm sorry to hear that. And then Kami asks, "How long will humanitarian parole take for someone in Afghanistan apply for my parents?" There's no answer to that. It's however long it takes them. Cynthia asks, "It was removal when the whole Trump had the automatic removal. We have 7 kids together too." I don't know, Cynthia. This is really something you got to talk. This is a huge matter. It's not something we talk about here. Please consult an immigration attorney in private. I don't handle these kind of cases, but talk with the specialist to really go to the details of it. Miranda asks, "What happens if you file to remove your conditions and you get a biometric appointment notice while you're in a different country?" Well, historically, you just miss it, and they'll just reschedule a new one. About 2 months ago, they updated the biometric rules where they're like, if you miss an appointment, we may just deny your case. It's really harsh. I doubt they're going to do that, but they can. I'm not sure. There's reasons why they changed it up like this. So what you have to do, if you think you're going to miss it, as soon as possible, once you get the appointment notice, call USCIS, the 1-800 number, let them know you're outside US and you can't make it. Hopefully they'll automatically reschedule it. They may schedule it for a month later. They may schedule it for 8 months later. So fortunately, because of the situation, it's going to be really difficult timing it out. Hopefully you're just here, but if you're outside, you got to jump a bunch of hoops and hope for the best. They made this immigration system extra complicated and extra annoying so that even if you just want to live your life, you got to go through some torture before you get what you need. That's just the reality of it. That's it. I want to say something fun or funny, but it's just torture for no reason. They could easily fix this stuff up. It should be easy, but it's not. And that's why having a lawyer kind of helps and walk you through it and stuff. But hopefully it just works well. Feed Your Faith asks, hoping this message finds you well. Thank you. You as well. I wanted to ask about when the moment comes, what are the documents I should take to the interview for a marriage-based green card? Thanks in advance. So Feed Your Faith, this is really dependent on your individual case. Now, you obviously have to bring, your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, and I talked about this earlier with another question, your divorce certificate. But then you bring, proof of relationship stuff, and it really depends on your individual relationship and what you have. So you can catch the video where I talk about the details of this, or down the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide where I give examples. But it really is ways to prove relationship is real through documentation. And so it depends on you and your spouse and what's going on there. Mustafa asks, if you have an illegal family member leaving eligibly in state, I think you're saying leaving illegal in state, paying tax, and his brother is a U.S. citizen, he can't file for adjustment status. Yeah, paying taxes, but none of that makes any sense. A lot of people contact me say, I pay taxes. That makes zero, other than for one small thing for cancellation removal for in court. It makes no difference that your brother is paying taxes. They're here illegally or unauthorized, and that's a really serious issue. So your brother will not be able to adjust status through you unless some exceptions exist, and I'd have to dive in deep to see what's going on there. But that's about it. I'm sorry to tell you that, but they're paying taxes and stuff doesn't make a difference for what you're trying to do. Crystal asks, always watching your video. Thank you, Crystal. Hello, sir. I'm about to file for adjustment of status. I came to U.S. on a J1 2019. Visa expired April 2020. Well, congratulations. Just make sure you're not subject to the J1 2-year home residency requirement. It should be listed on your passport visa page and on your DS 2019, whether you are. Sometimes they make a mistake, you're not, and you are subject to it, but they don't list it. So as a lawyer, what I have to do is look up the reason and how you got your J1, what kind of J1 it was, and what country you're from to see if you're subject to a 2-year home residency requirement. Because if you are, it's going to really mess things up for your adjustment case. Hopefully that's not a problem and everything else works. And thanks for watching, Chris. I appreciate it. Tony asks, I've been deported since April 2020 for abandoning my green card for my first marriage. Currently married to U.S. citizen and 2 children for 9 years. Filed I-130, got approved. Filed I-824, and it's been over 13 months. Any idea how I can expect a case? I'm a Canadian citizen. Tony, this is something you need to consult immigration and private about. There's a lot of places I need to know information, and things could be really problematic. So definitely just talk with immigration and private. I don't handle cases where people have been deported. And when you say I've been deported for abandoning my green card for my first marriage, I don't know why they would deport you for that unless you've been out for a long time. I just need to see for myself. So I would say schedule a private consultation. But since I don't handle cases with removal history, I wouldn't necessarily recommend contacting me unless you want to just talk to me generally in private. But there's just way too much going on. This is something I need individual attention. Mono asks, we called to check our case. And they told us they're still working on June 2020. Again, Mono, I don't know your case. You're not specifying what kind of case it is. And I wouldn't be able to look up timelines here anyways. So just, maybe hire an attorney, talk with them to get a fuller understanding, because you're just leaving way too many important facts out of the question that make it impossible for me to answer. Miranda asks, how do you get a hold of USCIS on the 100 number? I can never get a hold of an actual representative. We got to press certain different buttons, ask for different things until you get a hold of somebody. They keep redoing it to make it more and more impossible to get a hold of someone. And I was talking to someone earlier, it might have been your case, about the biometrics appointment. And so in that case, it's annoying. It's a mess. The 100 number, they don't answer the call. We have a new, I think, director of USCIS, and she posted on her Twitter account, this week is the week of service, and we want to serve you. And I didn't want to be a troll, so I didn't say anything. I'm like, well, if you want service, answer the 1-800 number. It's crazy. And if I'm able to get through to a system, it's a 1 hour, 2 hour wait of me on the phone waiting to talk with someone on the 1-800 number for USCIS. And then once they finally get a hold of someone, the last time I called, we were on the phone for 20 minutes trying to do an expedite. Then as soon as she came to finish it up, that call hung up on me. I waited 2 hours, talked with all this time, complete waste of time. And it's sad. It's just sad. But Rhonda, you just got to play the game and see what happens. Maybe hire attorney help you or something like that. There's no good answers because they've made the system, it seemed at this point, almost intentional so that they don't have to do anything. And now I get to back that a little bit. We've been getting USCI's case approved really fast. I've had a really wonderful, today I had 2 officers do interviews. They were really great. I don't really want to disparage them like that. I think it's more of a systematic thing than an individual officer thing. It's just the system's a mess. We have 4 years of Trump that threw every wrench he could into the system to destroy it from inside. There's funding issues. There's management issues, and we have political management coming and going. So it's a mess, and it's not necessarily the employee's fault. It's just the whole system is badly designed and doesn't get attention. So this is what we're dealing with. Sam asked, John, thank you so much. Will I face any issue at customs when I come back to U.S. with my conditional green card about to expire in 23 weeks? It's up to the officer. I don't know anything about your history, Sam. You've been arrested before. Have you done some weird things that they may be worried about? Do you have a ham sandwich in your bag that they don't approve of? Maybe you have an apple or orange you're not supposed to bring. It's just too generalized a question for me to say without knowing anything about you other than the few things we talked about in the last few minutes. So, consult with an attorney in private, have a relationship with an immigration. And this is one of those things. People are like, oh, I don't want to pay. I could do an adjustment of status myself. I can do it myself. I understand that you can. A lot of people do, and it's successful. But the whole point is to have a relationship with the attorney so they know your case. So when you have a question, they can properly answer it. I don't mean to be harsh on you, but this is what it is. And I was talking to somebody today. I'm like, you're buying a relationship. Now, not every attorney's like this. Many attorneys are transactional and don't care about you and stuff. But, my clients know that I know them, and we'll talk, and they'll call me. I have clients from 5 years, and I'm talking 5 years, and I'll remember, oh, yeah, how's your job doing? How's your wife doing? You're having a kid. How are they now? Like all this kind of stuff. And so when they ask a question, I know the answers. But when you ask these kind of cold questions, and I get people calling me on my phone, which I stopped picking up many months ago, and ask me this, I'm like, I can't answer these questions because it's just not enough information. And I'm really just, my point is, that's why it's so good to have an individual relationship with an immigration attorney. So you have these questions answered. So you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. You just have to worry. It's discretion when you're entering the United States. But it could at least take away the big worries. Okay, your case like this. Okay, most likely it won't, or try to fix it up. Don't worry about it. Go have a good trip. But I wouldn't be able to answer that here based on the limited info and not having an attorney-client relationship with you to give this kind of individual advice. So we'll take one more question, and then we'll call it a day. Katrina, who is our lucky last question winner, or was that the last one? I'm sure. Oh, we have 5 or 6 more. You know what? Let's do Crystal's questions. Because she's going to be filing, and then we'll just call it a day. So first, I'm not subject to the home residence requirement. That's really good. And then it says, but I overstayed. That should be fine if you're married U.S. citizen. My visa expired April 2020. That's okay. But I'm not in process because of COVID and everything. COVID and stuff shouldn't have stopped you. Probably should have moved forward. Trying to apply. So if you're married to U.S. citizen, I think you have, thank you so much. And how much did you, okay. So you also ask how much it costs. Download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It really has all this information there. But if you enter lawfully and you're married to a U.S. citizen, if you overstay your visa, barring you have criminal history, you weren't sent to immigration, all this kind of stuff, the overstay is not a problem, and they forgive that. So that's probably not going to be a big deal. The filing fee is $1,225 for adjusting the status. I-130 is $535. I just tell clients, $1,760 is the government filing fee, plus medical checkup, passport photos, translations, and other kind of stuff that may come with it. But congratulations on getting married. And, the information I gave here is not case specific to you, as general guidance. Talk to the immigration attorney prior to make sure everything is up and running. But that's it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We got a lot of things. Thank you so much. All this kind of stuff. I appreciate everyone. We'll just call it a day today. And sorry, I'm exhausted. I've been up since 5 a.m. USCIS, back-to-back meetings. I'm kind of about to pass out. Crystal, why don't you just take a screenshot so I know it's you, and email me at info@jqqlaw.com, and then we'll do a free 15-minute video consultation to kind of go over this stuff in private. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please come back again next week, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll be here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Not Twitter. I don't do Twitter. TikTok, there's a T in there, and LinkedIn for John Khosravi. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Be safe.